continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Warner Anderson as Matthew Swain, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, and Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson.
David Schuster has only recently arrived in Peyton Place to take over management of the mill. But already he has problems. His attempts to solve them will involve both Julie and Betty Anderson.
I've done a lot of talking to myself. What's expected of us? Are we supposed to spend the rest of our lives going to work, coming home, having supper, early to bed, early to rise? Oh. Why can't we have any fun?
I'll go warm supper.
Mother, I know we were talking about you, and then all of a sudden I started thinking of myself. Forgive me.
You answer the door, please.
Are we expecting something?
Yes, Mr. Schuster from the mill.
What does he want?
Well, I'm not sure. He phoned and said he wanted to come over. It was important.
Oh, hello. I'm David Schuster. I think Mrs. Anderson is expecting me.
Yes, she is. Won't you come in, please?
Thank you.
I'm Betty Anderson.
How do you do?
Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
My mother will be down in a moment.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Venus de Milo.
The Venus de Milo.
No arms.
Oh.
No legs either.
That disqualifies her.
Are you the seamstress?
No, my mother is.
Mrs. Anderson?
Mr. Schuster.
Would you excuse me, please?
I appreciate your seeing me on such short notice.
Well, what can I do for you?
I want you to come back to the mill as my secretary.
Well, what about Marion?
Marion is being moved to accounting.
For what reason?
For a lot of reasons, Mrs. Anderson. I'm prepared to offer you a substantial raise in salary.
Well, that's very generous, but I would still like to know why you're making the offer.
Well, frankly, Mrs. Anderson, I'm having my problems with personnel procedure. I don't want to rock the boat, but I am making a few waves here. I need experienced assistance and advice from time to time, and Marion hasn't been able to give me that.
Do you think that's the secretary's job?
I ask a lot of my secretaries, Mrs. Anderson. That's why I've come to you. I've gathered that you were more than that to Harrington. Am I interrupting your dinner?
No, not at all.
It seems you were more of an executive assistant, so I've been told.
Well, that's very flattering. However, it is an exaggeration. I was Mr. Harrington's secretary, period.
Well, I don't want you to misunderstand, Mrs. Anderson. I don't want someone to make my decisions for me. I'll do that myself, but I need someone to help me get the facts to base them on. Would Monday be too soon to start?
Well, I haven't said I would accept the job.
I know, and I'm surprised that you haven't.
Oh?
I know something about your situation. With a husband hospitalized indefinitely, I would think that the additional money would be important to you. Is something wrong?
Oh, no. You're very direct. It's just that in some ways you talk like Leslie Harrington.
Is that good or bad?
I'll think about your offer, Mr. Schuster.
How long?
Well, I have to talk to Dr. Rossi about replacing me. I'll let you know by the end of the week. Would that be soon enough?
What else can I do?
You know, you do remind me of Leslie Harrington.
Do I? I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Good night, Mrs. Anderson.
Good night.
I think you should take it. It's not only the money, you're just marking time in Dr. Rossi's office.
Means going back to the mill.
Doesn't have to be a step back. Mr. Schuster isn't Leslie Harrington.
I didn't mean...
I was unfair.
Yes, you were.
Mother, that's what I was saying. We're both making too much of the past. We have to think of the present now.
Yes. Yes, we do, don't we?
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, slow down.
Can't, I'm late.
Now, is that breakfast for a growing girl?
For a girl who's late.
Do you have 1 minute?
Yes.
I have something for you.
I don't understand. It's not my birthday or anything.
It's a just because present. Just because I wanted to get you something.
I love opening presents.
So do I.
Oh. Oh, it's beautiful.
That watch fob belonged to my great-grandfather.
Oh, thank you. Now, I really feel part of the Carson family. There's something written on it in French. Je vais sur ce que j'aime.
Je vais sur ce que j'aime. I watch over those I love.
Good morning.
Well, good morning.
Good morning. Look what I got, Mother. It's a Carson family heirloom.
It's lovely, dear.
I had to put on a bracelet for her.
So I see.
It's a just because present.
Ezekiel Carson, that was his name.
Whose name?
My great-grandfather.
Oh, he was my great-grandfather, so that makes him yours.
My great-great-grandfather. I wonder how many people can reach that far back. You know what the family motto is, the Carson motto?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
Je vais sur ce que j'aime.
Begged, borrowed, or stolen from the French.
Well, I better hurry if I want to open the bookstore before school. Would you?
Patience. There.
Thank you. It's nice to have a man around the house.
Thank you, ma'am.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, dear.
Bye-bye. I think she liked it.
A handsome gift. I didn't know you were going to give it to her.
Oh, you're hurt.
Don't be foolish.
Connie, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. And I didn't want to leave you out.
I know.
I just wanted to give Allison something. Something of me.
Come on. I'll fix your breakfast.
May I?
Thank you.
How much?
1 dime.
Pretty thin for a dime.
A dime's pretty thin.
So it is these days.
Thank you.
Come here.
What?
Take a look. Remember him?
Who?
Heading toward the bank building. It's Stephen Court.
Hannacourt's son? What's he doing in town?
He wanted to get with Dow. A job, associate or something.
I thought he worked in Boston for Grandfather Peyton's lawyers. What are they? Wainwright and Kennerly?
They're not grandfather's lawyers anymore. Guess who is? Our friend Mr. Dow.
Well, when did that happen?
I don't know. Who tells us anything?
Well, who told you that?
I ran into Stephen at the drugstore. We had a cup of coffee together. He told me something else. That grandfather doesn't buy that story about the murder, not Dad's version. He doesn't believe Mother had anything to do with it. So you see, Rod, I'm not the only one.
Well, that was quite a cup of coffee.
Yep, I enjoyed it.
Wait a second. Doesn't it seem a bit odd to you that a guy walks up to you in a drugstore and casually says something like that?
It wasn't just a guy. It was Stephen Cord, Hannah Cord's son. And you can't get much closer to the old man than that.
I'm having this all cleared out.
Including the desk, Mr. Dow?
But you'll want a desk, won't you?
There aren't any more of these around, I suppose. All phased out. Can I help you move these?
I'll take care of it.
Captain Harrington Trust.
Yeah, for the boys, I'm co-executor. Doesn't amount to much.
I know.
Oh, yes, of course you would. Well, I see you're catching up on our local news.
I have a little catching up to do.
Well, I'll see you in, say, 10 minutes. Come in then, will you? Meanwhile, if there's anything you want...
No, I'm comfortable, Mr. Dow.
Very well.